Hello there, PPL fans. I am Erasthamus Gaming, and I welcome you to the Division 2 Week 2 recap. I am joined by Colton, otherwise known as Shadow Gaming Hub. Hey there.
Hey, good to be here.
Yeah, it's super duper fun, right?
Oh yeah.
So, this is going to be the second time we actually recorded this. First time Camtasia messed up the actual recording, so bear with us as we go through and do this again. Both of us have lost our notes for this, simply because we expected this to be over and done with. So if we mess up on various bits and pieces, please forgive us.
Yeah, we'll be doing our best.
Yeah. Okay, so we are going to be going in the order of the fixture list on the ye old Division 2 spreadsheet. So that means we're going to be leading off with Ruby Marrow of the Glass City Gliscors versus Under the Radar of the Maryland Torterrapins. This match...
You got the name first.
Yeah.
You got the name right first time this time.
Okay, so this match... the first turn hacks against Under the Radar really kind of set the tone for the whole match. I don't know if it really set the tone. It just really set Kelly back quite a bit.
The turn 2 loss of Clefable really let Ruby stay in the match.
Yeah.
And put Kelly on the back foot
immediately.
Really early. Yeah.
Like, and Kelly was already going to be on the back foot simply because Ruby predicted Kelly's lead of Sandslash really well, and following getting the early KO on Clefable, he could have just capitalized on it from there. The match itself was, I feel like it was a lot of questionable things happened, like.
Yeah.
On Kelly's side, he just continually went for tri-attacks on the Latios with his Magneton, which
trying
was...
to get the hacks in his favor, which is understandable, but at the same time, when you can go for more damage output, it's not really needed.
Yeah, like, I'm not sure how I feel about that. And on Ruby's side, not only did he keep his Latios in on said Magneton, just like taking damage for days, but he also sacked his check to Scarf Jirachi very early, that check being Fat Regigigas, Fat Rocky Helmet Regigigas, which ultimately leads to him losing. Going
back and actually watching through the match just again when I was taking notes, Ruby actually really had a really good chance to win there at the end, but really misplayed around with Talonflame. He could have switched out, sacked something. He played for the differential instead, and it just didn't work out to Ruby's favor.
Yeah, for those who actually haven't watched the match, basically what happened is after a pretty good battle between the two players, Kelly was left with a Sandslash at about half HP and his Scarf Jirachi, and Ruby Marrow had his Talonflame, his Jolteon, and his Keldeo. Basically what had happened is that he had brought his Talonflame in, he had his Talonflame in after killing something, I believe. And
I believe it was the Milotic that he killed, and then the Sandslash came in after that went down.
Yeah, so this is a banded Talonflame. So banded Brave Bird does about half to the Sandslash. Basically, if Kelly wanted to win, he needed to hope that Ruby stayed in and got a bad roll. And that's exactly what happened.
When Ruby could have easily switched out to Jolteon, sacked it, gone out to Keldeo, killed the Sandslash and or the Jirachi, and then won from there.
Exactly. It was... I can't remember... How much health was the Jirachi at? Like, I knew it...
The Jirachi was sitting somewhere around 30 to 40% health.
Yeah, I don't know how well that would have taken a banded Brave Bird from that
I don't
point.
think it could have taken one, unless it had some investment.
Yeah.
Which, it was a Scarf Rachi, so I don't think he had much investment.
Yeah. Overall, it was honestly just a choked match.
Yeah, there was a lot of hacks, a lot of misses on the Zen headbutts.
Oh yeah, those, Jesus. Those were horrible.
There was a lot of those, way too many.
I mean, ultimately they weren't game changing, but it still really ruined the momentum for Kelly because every time he managed to put himself into a position to get back in the game, he would he would miss a Zen headbutt and just be back at square one.
Yeah. So overall, it was a pretty even game, but Ruby choked there at the end, and Kelly got to take a hold of it and pull out the 1-0 victory.
Close game, and I think it was a good showing of that Ruby's no slouch. Like, I know a lot of people have been underestimating him simply because of his team, but he's doing fairly well. He definitely knows how to play, and he definitely knows how to play with his team.
Yep, he's got the 2 victories so far, so we'll see where he gets it from there. And Ruby's been no slouch either, almost coming clean with the victory this week, and he got the one over Newcastle United last week. So
yeah, it was good. Okay, moving on to Jordanez of the Southampton Sneasels and Amazing Chi of Newcastle United. Game going to Mr. Amazing Chi. Basically came down to Jordanez just not having anything for Eruption Typhlosion.
Yeah. The beginning turns, both leading with Drudagon and Empoleon. They both Chi letting his Empoleon as his defogger go down relatively early, and Jordan allowing his Drudagon to go down just as early didn't really help either of them.
I think that one's a little bit more arguable, because the more I think about it, the more I can argue that it benefited Jordanez, simply because not only did, okay, hold on, let's go over what happened. First turn, Empoleon, Drudagon. Empoleon goes for Ice Beam, gets a crit on Jordanez's Assault Vest Drudagon. Drudagon goes for the Earthquake, does a hell of a lot of damage to ye old Empoleon. Amazing Chi forgets that he actually got a crit on the Ice Beam, goes for Flash Cannon. Drudagon lives at roughly 7 to 10%. And Drudagon manages to kill off the Empoleon. Amazing Chi brings in his Mesprit, and instead of actually killing off the Drudagon, goes for Stealth Rock, meaning that the Drudagon can get off really good damage with a Outrage. So, getting a kill and a half after getting crit first turn, it was a fairly good trade in Jordanez's favor. But
well, actually what happened is when Empoleon went for the Flash Cannon, Drudagon Sucker Punched and left Empoleon at very low HP, in which he switched out Mesprit into Mesprit after that.
See, look, I messed it up.
I just rewatched that match, so that's the main reason I remember that.
But yeah.
But overall, the beginning of the match, they both lost big parts of their team early on, but Chi brought it back as Rocks didn't let it.
They really didn't hamper him too much.
Yeah.
Every time Jordanez had some sort of huge threat, Amazing Chi had some sort of really good prep to deal with it. Like at one point, Jordanez's Sylveon had a Calm Mind boost and had gone for Psyshock onto ye old Mega Venusaur, except the fact that Chi had made his Venusaur mixed, and Power Whip did well over half to what I was assuming defensive Sylveon. And it was just another example of really, really good preparation on Chi's side. And
the Sapsipper Miltank from Jordan did come in, and it did do its job beautifully, but it could have been preserved for more.
It definitely could have been preserved, and the fact it was just hugely annoying to Cheese Core. Like Zapdos plus Mega Venusaur just simply could not touch it, and trying to play around Miltank was very, very difficult for him. And then getting to the point where Typhlosion came in, Jordanez kind of just choked it away because he chose to sack his Sylveon before sacking his Scizor, which meant that Sylveon died to eruption damage, which was unfortunate. Very unfortunate.
Yeah, overall it was a great game though. They both played decent. Just Chi played better as the game went on, and Jordan lost it about halfway through. and really kind of just.
I think it was a mix of mispreparation as well as just not preserving guaranteed switch-ins to things.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a surefire way to lose in this kind of format.
Yeah.
Moving on, yes?
Yeah.
Alright, moving on to Chaos in the Sky of the Boston Breadlooms and Carter McCann, or Jim, he's got a lot of names, of the Chicago Cub Shoes. I think this one's probably the best game
I'd say,
this week.
if not the best, one of the best matches from this week.
It's like first or second. Basically, good prep on both sides, good plays on both sides. Came down to a small misplay with Dawn Fan from Chaos that Carter just really capitalized on and came back to win the game. Quick thing, this game was obviously, if you haven't watched it already, this game was played on Showdown in a custom game, meaning that Carter had a already Mega Gardevoir with Trace. This really did not actually come into play during the match, and both coaches agreed that it was fine. Like at this point, they were having severe connection issues between the two of them. There's like the sixth time they had gone to try and have a battle. So
I believe it was something like that.
Yeah, Carter was just like, no, we're done. We're just gonna do this, get it over with. Chaos did a really, really good job of maintaining momentum on his side of the field, as well as keeping Victini very, very healthy with dual Healing Wish users, which was an interesting choice. I liked it.
And the Screens Gardevoir let him switch into a lot of things that normally he wouldn't have been able to. So Chaos did a great job prepping this week, and his Gardevoir with Screens allowed him to do a lot more to Carter's team than normally.
Yep. What did Carter do? Carter's use of Scarf Chomp at the very, very end of it, trying to weaken everything to the point where Spiritomb could sweep. That was a fairly intelligent play on his part.
Yeah. Spiritomb was kept very, very well and did what it needed to do and got 3 kills at the end, which is fantastic.
There were a couple crits that didn't really matter, but it was a crit on Chaos's Rotom, I believe. Was it Chaos's Rotom? I can't remember.
I can't remember either.
All right, let me double check. I'm sorry, we're being very unprofessional about it. Yeah, it was a crit on Chaos's Rotom that it looked like it mattered initially, but it didn't really in the end of it, just because it was a scarfed Garchomp that was in after the crit, so it wasn't game changing, but it was more kind of a kick in the face.
Yeah. Carter played a lot more for the late game than Chaos did, which really let him get the guaranteed win at the end. And it was very overall well-played game by both. Chaos made some misplays with the Dawn Fan, not letting his... And the poison on Victini from the Roserade came in pretty well. So Carter played more for the late game, which really solidified the win for him there.
Yep, sounds good. Alright, moving on to Monotui and Layson MC of the Tampa Bay Luxrays and the Philadelphia Flyguns, respectively. Good lord, this match. So, if any of you viewers would like to learn how to play in a league format, there are a couple things that you really should prioritize above all else. First things first, you should get a really good defensive core. Both teams have a fairly strong defensive core, if I do say so myself. I actually prefer Layson's core to Monotui's. I just don't like having a Violet users. I feel like it's kind of a crutch. Not saying that a lot of Violet users aren't viable. You've got things like Togetic, obviously, on Monotui's team, and Golbat, which are both excellent. I just prefer having passive recovery on things like leftovers and stuff like that. So after you get your defensive core, a lot of people want to get as high quality hazard control as possible. And this is a game that was honestly dictated by the fact that Layson just simply did not have hazard control, and he just didn't preserve his win condition. Monotui honestly just outprepared and outplayed Layson entirely this match. There's not much else left to say, which is unfortunate, but
yeah. I'd also like to throw an apology towards Layson MC, because I was in the call when team preparation was happening along with several other people, but as there were several other people, I felt outshadowed and did not speak up much and just kind of went along with things. So I do apologize there, as I probably could have helped a little more. Not bringing Taunt on Thunderous was a really big mistake, and Layson didn't play the best. He could have saved Scarf Superior for later, and he really, what hampered him down a lot was Togetic. He had nothing really to touch Togetic.
It almost felt like not only did he not prepare for Monotui's defensive core, it also felt like he just didn't do the calcs for switch-ins and stuff like that. Like, switching in so recklessly to a Mega Aerodactyl, which has access to Aqua Tail with a Regirock, is questionable at best.
The preparation was a little lacking on Layson's side, and so was the battle itself. But I know Layson. I know he can do better, so...
I mean, like, in no way, shape, or form is Layson a slouch. Like, he's proved himself several times over that he knows what he's doing in this kind of format, and he can do it well. I think that this is just some early week rust that he will hopefully be able to shake off going into the next couple weeks.
Yeah, I know that he's been at work, and I believe that his next battle against Troy and the Wakambi Wanderers, his backup coach is actually having a battle for him. So, I know this is just some early season rust that he's trying to get off, and hopefully he'll have it off soon, because I know he can perform, and I know he's here to perform. So,
yeah. Okay, moving on to... This is the Showdown Under. This is the North Melbourne Kangaskhan's, coached by Travesty, and the Melbourne Victory Star, coached by Eastorm. This was a story of Travesty not having the team synergy to really have switch-ins to Eastorm, but Travesty managed to outmaneuver Eastorm and just win with Scarf Curum, which was absolutely fantastic.
Eastorm had absolutely zero switch-ins for a Scarf Curum. He brought nothing to outspeed a Scarf Curum, and it was just bad news bears all over.
Yeah, like, it was Salamence, Infernape, Tauros, Altaria, Suicune. Well, like I said in the previous recording, which doesn't exist anymore, I felt like should Eastorm have brought like physically defensive, or especially defensive Suicune and physically defensive Altaria, this would have been a completely different match. I feel like not only did he not really prepare well for said Scarf Curum, which looking at his, squad, absolutely decimates him outside of ye old Registeel, which even then doesn't appreciate a Earth Power. But it was just...
I don't think that Eastorm underprepared, but I don't think he prepared enough. Facade on the Mega Altaria for the potential Will-O-Wisps from Mega Sableye was nice.
I just think that he missed opportunities to set up with Altaria that really would have put a stop to Travesty.
Yeah. The Icy Wind on Mega Sableye really came in clutch for Travesty. The
preparation on flipping Sableye was absolutely amazing. Like, whipping out the Zen Headbutt while Eastorm trying to get cheeky with the Swords Dance. Absolutely perfect.
Yeah. Trav did a great job with his Mega Sableye this week, and it really came in clutch when it needed to.
couple hacks against Lantern, didn't get poisoned like turn 1.
Yeah, Lantern got poisoned, but helped whittle down the Lantern, but really in the long term, didn't do too much against the matchup. Honestly, the burn against Kiram was also pretty unfortunate, but at the same time, didn't matter 100%.
Yep.
So, E-Storm did get some hacks in his favor, but did not help the outcome of the match. And overall, yeah, Trav just came in with Kiram.
There's not much else to say. It was just good positioning.
Yeah, it was the Kiram show mainly this week for Travesty.
Yeah. Moving on to the last battle of this week, the Trojan Horse of the Wakombi Warriors versus the Juancito Marvel of the Amityville Haunters. Again, if you want to have a lesson in trying to prepare for League format, generally you want to pick a wall core that can have some sort of recovery by itself. Things like Gastrodon, things like Arcanine, things like Tangrowth even. All of them have some sort of built-in recovery, either through abilities or moves. And this was Juan not really keeping his walls healthy as well as he could have. And I feel like that's just getting back used to the format and stuff like that.
Yeah. This is also a battle that if you have not seen it and do not know what happened, this is also something that can show you the mental side of preparing for League battles.
Yeah.
And playing in a League. Unfortunately, stuff happened with Juan and a forfeit happened, but due to situations going on in real life. And I do hope that things get better for Juan soon. And I know that he's not somebody that is bad at this format. I know that he's a good player, and I'm hoping that just like Layson, this is him shaking the rust off.
Like, the thing is, like, he didn't even prepare badly either. He just didn't play well. That got him flustered, and then he just he just lost a mental battle, which led to him losing a actual battle. Yeah. And it's very unfortunate. Trying to produce content like this and trying to prepare and be competitive in a league like this while managing real life responsibilities is tough sometimes. And it just really kind of sat on Juan this week. In terms of what both coaches did well, Troy did a really good job of having the surprise Scarf Latias. Definitely caught Juan off guard. So that was an interesting but very effective choice.
The safety goggles Tornadus T from Juan was great. It could have been played better, but other than that, it did what it needed to do. It walled the Amoonguss and got good chip damage off. Yeah. It's played very well. Yeah. The Skunk Tank, Pursuit Trapping the Latias. Not being able to OHKO was not a problem, but at the same time was kind of expected, as it's a Skunk Tank versus a Latias.
I mean, it's a Latias. What can OHKO a Latias? I think that this was a learning experience for Juan. Like, I don't think he's ever gonna really sleep on having rocks up on his side of the field. I don't think he's gonna sleep on the fact that he needs to keep his walls healthy.
Yeah, I think it was more of a learning experience than anything for Juan, and both mental and actual in battle. And Troy just with getting up rocks first turn with his Sash Gliscor, and being even at the point where Juan had forfeited, Honchkrow was behind a sub and would have been able to get the sweep up.
At the point that Juan forfeited, there wasn't anything he really could have done.
Yeah, there was Gastrodon was asleep and was on the field while Honchkrow was behind a sub.
Yeah, Gastro. It wasn't Gastro. It was Skuntank was asleep. Yeah. Claydol was like at 30 to 40%, and then he had a full health Metacham. and there was no way to come back from that. So
Yeah.
unfortunate, but a learning experience.
Yeah.
So this week, lots of good battles, lots of hacks. Like, none of it was hugely game changing, which is fortunate.
Yeah. Every match had its own fair share of hacks, though.
I think it was most influential in Ruby Marrow versus Under the Radar.
Definitely. They definitely had the most influential hacks.
Yeah. And yeah.
But overall, it was a good week. We had some great battles. We had some learning and experiencing battles, and overall, it wasn't a bad week.
It was not. So, thank you all for watching. Thank you, Mr. Shadow Gaming Hub, for joining me yet again.
No problem.
And if you enjoyed this, look out for all the other uploads that will be coming to the PPL channel. So hope you all enjoyed, and we shall see you very soon. Goodbye.
Bye.